You know that feeling when someone says something that ruins your entire day? What if I told you that feeling only lasts 90 seconds unless you keep feeding it? Here's the truth. Anger is a choice. Neurologically, the stress chemicals that create anger naturally flush from your system in exactly 90 seconds. But we keep the anger alive by replaying the story and rehearsing our comeback. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off when you burn toast, but instead of opening a window, you keep making more toast. Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, notice what happens. Your body floods with stress hormones. That's the 90 seconds. But then you start the story. What an idiot. And suddenly, you're still angry 20 minutes later. When you understand this 90-second rule, you realize you have a choice point. You can let the chemicals flush naturally, or you can feed the fire. Everyone knows someone who stays calm no matter what happens. They're not superhuman. They just know something you're about to learn. Chapter 1. The Button Pusher Myth. You're not a remote control. They really know how to push my buttons, we say. Like we're helpless. But nobody can push buttons you don't give them. The myth is that other people have magical powers over your emotions. In reality, those buttons are actually unhealed wounds or values violations from your past. When someone pushes your buttons, they're showing you exactly where you still need healing. When you stop being a remote control, you become the operator of your own emotional state. Nobody gets to decide how you feel except you. Chapter 2. The Secondary Emotion Revelation. What you call anger isn't actually anger. Anger is the emotional equivalent of a security guard. It shows up to protect feelings like hurt, fear, or shame. When someone criticizes you and you get angry, you're not really angry. You're hurt that they don't see your value. Anger feels safer than vulnerability, so it volunteers to be the spokesperson. When you address the hurt instead of expressing the anger, a real shift happens. I felt forgotten gets a very different response than you never remember anything. Chapter 3. The choice point discovery. Between every trigger and your response, there's a space. In that space lies your freedom. Most people don't even know this space exists. Viktor Frankl discovered this in a concentration camp. No matter what happens to you, you always have the freedom to choose your response. That trigger hits, your body floods with chemicals, but before you react, there's a microsecond of choice. Ask yourself, what response would I be proud of tomorrow? That question activates your choice point. Chapter 4. The Observer Self-Technique. What if you could watch your emotions like weather patterns? Inside you is an observer that can watch your emotions without becoming them. You can notice, anger is arising, heart rate increasing, but you don't become the anger. This observer self gives you emotional immunity. You can experience any emotion without being controlled by it. Chapter 5. The Reframe Revolution. What if difficult people aren't obstacles, but personal trainers for your emotional fitness? Every difficult person in your life is showing you exactly where you need to grow. That critical boss is training your resilience muscle. That passive-aggressive neighbor is developing your boundary-setting skills. When difficult people become trainers, you stop being a victim and become a student. Chapter 6. The Boundary Blueprint. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates with you as the gatekeeper. Healthy boundaries are like the skin on your body. They let good things in and keep harmful things out. You just need to be clear about what you will and won't accept. I understand you're frustrated, but I don't respond well to yelling. Can we talk when you're calmer? This isn't aggressive, it's assertive. Chapter 7. The Timeout Protocol. There's a difference between strategic retreat and running away. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is temporarily remove yourself from a triggering situation. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You're giving your nervous system time to reset. I need to take a break from this conversation. Let's continue when I can respond thoughtfully instead of reactively. Chapter 8. The Trigger Map Method. Your triggers aren't random. They follow patterns. When you map these patterns, you stop being surprised by your reactions. Knowledge is power. When you see the landmine, you can step around it. Preparation transforms reaction into response. Chapter 9. Compassionate Distance. You can care about someone without carrying their emotions. Compassionate distance means maintaining emotional boundaries while keeping your heart open. It's like being a lifeguard. You throw them a life preserver, but you don't jump in and drown with them. You're being supportive without being consumed. Chapter 10, The Story Stopper. You're not experiencing reality, you're experiencing your story about reality. Every time someone triggers you, your mind creates a narrative. They don't respect me. But these are interpretations, not facts. What if their sharp tone means they're stressed, not that they dislike you? Change the story, and you change your emotional experience. Transformation happens through consistent practice, not perfection. Start with one technique and use it for a week. Each time you choose a new response, you're rewiring your brain. Small, consistent changes create massive transformations over time. The person who never gets bothered isn't born different, they've just practiced these skills until they became automatic. Think about who you'll be when difficult people no longer have power over your peace. That person is waiting for you.